Hey there guys, and welcome back to Alex Invest. For those of you who don't know, I'm Alex. I'm a business owner with a degree in economics, and today the markets are closed, which is why we went with a little bit of a blue as we usually do on Sundays. So today I wanted to mainly talk about Ballard Power Systems, but I also wanted to talk about hydrogen in general last week and the stock market, right? So obviously last week we saw the stock market was pretty red and hydrogen was red along with it. EV industry in general was a bit mixed. We had some like Lordstown and Workhorse ending the week a little bit higher, whereas others like NEO and some of the capital raising there has made these Chinese EVs actually fall quite a bit. And of course, Switchback ended the week 9% lower as well. That's Switchback Energy. It's another stock that I'm actually invested in, but I haven't made a video on it because they have been so high as a stock lately, and I just don't see right now it being that great of a time investing, although I am holding all of my shares. I'm waiting for a little bit of a drop before I really talk to you guys about that one. Anyways, moving back to hydrogen now, Bloom Energy ending the week down 11%. From the 8th onwards, we have seen a downtrend in this company. Plug was also up on the week, but down on Friday as well. They've still been doing well since their public offering, where I did say to invest at around that $22.5, $23 mark, and since then we have not seen that price again. Right now, again, we could see some more downturn on Monday, but we'll have to wait and see what we see there. Fuel Cell also down 6% on the week and 4% on Friday. Now, Fuel Cell, again, this is one of my favorites here in the industry. You know, if there's one to pick, I would say Fuel Cell, especially, you know, they had their public share offering. Their price went down quite a bit. They're hovering around that 770 mark now, and I think that's a great spot to buy this stock. I still see them growing much bigger from here. Obviously they're gonna hit that $9 mark again soon and obviously surpass that quite heavily. I see them still at the $10 to $15 mark in the next 6 months here and moving much higher from there. And of course, Ballard Power, the one I want to talk to you guys about today, right? We've had some choppy weeks the past few weeks. You know, I would say the past 3 weeks or so, we've seen ups and downs, right? Going up to that $21 and bouncing down to 19, right? That's sort of the range if we look at Ballard Power on the NASDAQ. And now this all makes sense because a lot of people are taking profits now, you know, and I think that's part of the big reason we saw that last week, because it's nearing the end of the year. So a lot of investors and hedge funds are taking advantage of those tax deductions which you get. If you sell a stock that you've made losses on and then you sell a stock that you've made profits on, you won't have to pay the amount of tax on the stocks that you've made profits on if it's offset by some of the stocks you've taken losses on. So I think there's a lot of hedge funds and investors doing this right now because we are getting close to that end of the year date, which is nice for us as investors because we aren't at those insane valuations that we had at the 21, at the $22 marks there, right? So for Ballard, I see 19 US as a pretty good buy, although we could still see a little bit more pullback moving into 2021, depending on those fourth quarter results, right? And depending on their revenues and their potential profits moving forward, because profits and profitability is something that Ballard has had trouble with. And that is why we're seeing sort of ups and down swings here. But the unprofitability really doesn't worry me too much, because if we look at Fuel Cell is pretty much purposely staying unprofitable so they can take advantage of tax and growth moving forward, right? Something I didn't mention about Ballard in my last video is their assets and how good they are. You know, if we take a look at their cash, for example, we can see they're almost at $362 million in Q3, whereas last year they only had $147 million. And that is what we want to see for growth moving forward. You know, they have all this cash that they can work with now, which is great. Now, their current assets is something that hasn't changed too much since last year. Now, this does worry me a little bit because why don't they have more property or more plants You know, the number has gone up a bit, same with investments, but I think they could increase those numbers just a little bit more here for accelerated growth moving forward. What is nice to see is their liabilities. They have been going down a little bit, and for some of these sections, you know, they've stayed pretty similar, which is again great to see that they're not racking up those liabilities and hurting themselves into the future. So now there's two things that I'm most excited about for this company. The first one is their technology and their heavy duty modules and marine modules. We'll go through some of the heavy duty modules here first. So we have the FC City, and we can see that they have different kilowatt versions for their heavy duty applications, but also that they already have over 1,500 of these power modules in operation in buses, in trucks, and in trains. And so this number here is just going to keep getting bigger and bigger, and I think we're going to see a lot of buses and sort of bigger heavy duty vehicles using this hydrogen technology. And then there's the FC Move, and this one is designed for commercial vehicle operators, designed with lower life cycle cost in mind here, which is obviously what is needed for commercial vehicles. So I do see those two growing very big moving forward. Right now, I think they are smart to focus on their heavy duty vehicles and their marine module as well. This is one that I'm also very big on. It's called the FC Wave, and we can see from the diagram here, we have the batteries and the fuel cells going into the power management, right, for the electric engine. And they have the hydrogen storage there, but what's nice is the water goes right out into the water, right? And that's one of the byproducts. But the other nice thing is that it produces heat for the entire vessel, all in a completely clean manner. So this is going to be big moving forward, and the durability of these fuel cell stacks is incredible. The life cycle is incredible, and I see this as a big industry moving forward, because a lot of that pollution that we're seeing in the environment today is because of these bigger, you know, planes, big boats, especially the older boats. You know, they're so not fuel efficient that they're just producing so much CO2 and so many other pollutants for the environment. And the second thing that gets me very excited here is in all the different markets around the world that they're operating in. Canada obviously is their main headquarters, but they have a subsidiary in the US as well, working on the heavy duty vehicles. And of course, like I mentioned in my last video, they're also partners in the material handling industry with Plug. They're also doing similar things in Europe right now, which is great. And of course, China, which is such an evolving market right now and is becoming so much bigger, especially in these clean energy spaces. And China is one of the places that I believe most in the hydrogen EV industry for those consumers, because they are really pushing this. You know, in China, we can see they're working with Weichai Power, and China has said that they want fuel cell electric vehicles in their market. So this is a place where I can see it really working in the nearer future, other than their heavy duty vehicles and their commercial vehicles, and obviously their marine, which I'm bullish about for the entire world, but specifically for the fuel cell electric vehicles for consumer use. I see China starting that trend off here. All right, so now I just wanted to go through the chart with you guys. And this is on the TSE in Canadian dollars, obviously. That's why we get up to the 29 here instead of that 21 on the NASDAQ, right? So anyways, first of all, this trend line since March here, right? I mean, obviously down here, we're at the $10 mark, but we can see we've been moving up nicely here, right? Now, obviously, there's no real channel we could build here too well, but this bottom trend line obviously shows the direction we're in now. We had this big spike and we came down. I talked about this in my last video too, but what I wanted to show you guys is this price floor here that I see really at this $1840 mark-ish. You know, I don't see us coming too much below that. So from here, from sort of last week moving into next week, you know, we do continue seeing some bearish momentum here. Volume is staying pretty high. There's obviously some higher points that we saw back here, right? But still pretty high. So we're going to continue to see volatility, I think, in this stock. And we might see it come down. I don't think we're going to see it go past this trend line. And if it does, I really do see a price floor right here at the 1845, maybe a little bit lower, but likely a little bit higher. And again, probably won't come past this trend line at the $21 mark, right? So worst case, I think if revenues are bad and stuff, we might come back down to this point. And obviously, if we do, I would instantly buy more shares because we see it just comes right back up off of that, right? But even down here, right, if we get close to this trend line mark, at even around the $21 mark, I would say it's a big buy from me. We are on that downward pressure right now, so I would wait for a bit of a reversal before I got in if you guys do want to get the best price possible. But again, with the things I've mentioned, I see the stock much higher still in the future. All right, guys, so that's going to do it for the video today. I hope you guys liked it. If you did, please like and subscribe. And as always, leave me a comment. Your comments have been very nice lately, and I do very much appreciate them. Other than that, I hope you guys have a fantastic Sunday, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.